adorned with ornaments hurriedly appeared before the gate and showered arrows like deep rumbling clouds of rainy season. Then the heroic Hanuman, being covered with their arrows, became invisible like the Himalayas. At the fall of the snow, he ranged in the clear sky with great speed. As the wind plays with clouds adorned with the rainbow, so Hanuman began to sport with those heroes armed with bows. Then he suddenly displayed his powers against them by startling them with his deep roar. He slapped some of them, fisted some of them, and some of them he tore with his sharp nails and teeth. He slew some of them by striking against their breasts, and some by crushing their thighs. Some of them fell on the ground, being unable to stand his thundering roars. At this, the soldiers were stricken with panic and ran away in different directions. The elephants roared in fright, and soldiers fell down on the ground. And the field of battle was covered with parts of crushed chariots. Broken flagstaffs, torn umbrellas, and blood flowed in torrents. Hanuman again ascended the gate, ready for further fight. Chapter 31, the third clash. Hearing about the death of the sons of the counselors with great patience, Ravana recovered the equanimity of mind. Then addressing the 5 captains of his army, Virupaksha, Upaksha, Durdarsha, Pragasa, and Basakarna, he said, "Captains, set out with an army for battle and punish that Vanara properly while engaged in fighting with that Vanara. Be always on your alert and act with due sense of time and place, that is, with a knowledge of the situation." All that I could gather from his conduct is that he is not an ordinary Vanara. He must be some other mighty being. I can never believe him to be a Vanara. Perhaps Indra has created him in order to do mischief to me. Many a time I have scored victory over the gods, Asuras, Nagas, Yakshas, and the Maharshis. Now they may do us mischief. I have no more doubts about it. Now go and capture the Vanara by force. Start immediately with your troops and subdue him. It is not proper to slight a mighty warrior. Before this, I have seen many Vanaras, Vali, Sugriva, Jambavan, Nila, Dvivida, and others, but none so irresistible. Nor in intelligence, energy, and strength they are like him, nor they can assume such a tall and formidable shape at will. Certainly some other creature has come assuming the shape of a Vanara. Exert yourself to your utmost to chastise him properly. Though the gods, the asuras, and the human beings cannot stand before you in battle, still defend yourself carefully. You see, there is no certainty which side will win in war, so be always on your guard. Then the leaders of the army issued forth with fiery energy. A number of chariots, elephants, and horses followed them. Here, Hanuman was seated upon the gate like a glaring sun. He was highly intelligent and huge in bulk, and was eagerly waiting for the fight. The captains, as soon as they saw him, surrounded him on all sides and attacked him with dreadful weapons. The great hero, Durdarsha, discharged 5 sharp shafts with golden blades like the leaves of a lotus. Being pierced by those arrows, Hanuman filled the sky with his terrific roars. Then Durdarshan approached him by showering arrows upon him. Hanuman stopped him by his roar, and being smitten by his arrows, he began to increase in dimension. Then he leaped up to a great height and then fell, like lightning in violent speed on Durdarsha's chariot. Thereupon 8 steeds, wheels and poles of the chariot were broken, and Durdarsha was crushed to death. Hanuman again rose in the sky. Then Virupaksha and Upaksha angrily approached him and hit his chest with 2 clubs. Hanuman, resisting that blow again, descended on the ground and crushed their hands, uprooting a huge solid tree from the ground. Then the heroic Pragasa approached with a cheerful countenance. Basakarna too angrily came forward with a lance. Pragasa threw a patisa, and Basakarna a lance at Hanuman. Being wounded by that dart and the patisa, Hanuman began to bleed from all his body. And then he looked red like the newly risen sun. Then he took up a mountain cliff in anger and struck them with it and crushed them into atoms. Then Hanuman became busy in attacking and destroying those surviving. He slew horse after horse and elephant after elephant. The field of battle became covered with the dead bodies of the Rakshasas, horses, elephants, and broken parts of chariots. Hanuman again ascended the gate like death, himself ready to strike. Chapter 32, Prince Akshaya. Then Ravana, hearing of the destruction of the heroic captains with their carriers, cast his eyes upon Prince Akshaya, who happened to be before him. Akshaya was very, very eager for fight. Having got the slightest hint from Ravana, he stood up like a tongue of flame fed by clarified butter. He got upon a chariot radiant as the rising sun and embellished with a golden network, and set out with bow plated with gold. His chariot was adorned with flags obtained by pennants and sky-ranging arms. 8 sharp swords were suspended from golden ropes from 8 points of the chariot, and arrows, saktis, and tomagas, frightful as the sun and moon, were kept in their proper places. It was unassailable by the gods and was bright as the lightning. Prince Akshaya, mighty as a god, set out in that for fight. The heaven and the earth were filled with the echoes of the neighing of the horses, trumpets of the elephants, and of the rumbling noise of the chariot. He came with his army before Hanuman, and that Hanuman shone like the doomsday fire, ready to consume everything. He saw Akshaya, and he gazed at him with admiration and surprise. At that time, Prince Akshaya too looked at him with the cruel stare of a lion. Considering Hanuman's impetuosity and his own, the cruel and his own cruel stare of a lion, considering Hanuman's impetuosity and his own prowess, he glowed in valor like the sun on the expiration of a cycle of creation. Hanuman was formidable, and his prowess was worthy object of sight, and he signaled him to fight by throwing 3 shafts at him. Hanuman was proud of fight, and languor could not touch him. He was skilled in victory, and Prince Akshaya looked at him with wrinkless eyes. Then that highly spirited hero approached Hanuman for battle. The meeting of those 2 worthy rivals filled the gods and the asuras with fear. Seeing them ready to put their prowess to proof, the sun grew dim, the wind ceased to blow, the rocks became restive, the creatures began to shriek in fear, and the sky and the sea were deeply disturbed by their fearful echoes. Prince Akshaya was versed and highly skillful in fixing and discharging his arrows in battle, and was a sure aim. And as his rage increased, he pierced Hanuman's head with golden shafts. Blood then flowed from Hanuman's head, and his eyes began to roll. He looked like the newly risen sun. Hanuman was glad to meet Akshaya and fight, and began to increase in bulk. In anger, he became incapable of being stared upon like the meridian sun, and it seemed as if he would burn Akshaya by the fire of his eyes. And the heroic Akshaya looked like a cloud of the rainy season. His bow was shooting incessant arrows like rains upon Hanuman. At this sight, Hanuman roared in battle with delight. Prince Akshaya was young, and his nature was childlike. He was proud of his strength. His eyes grew red with rage, and he approached Hanuman, hitting him incessantly with arrows as an elephant approaches a well concealed in grass. Being smitten by the arrows, Hanuman set up a terrible roar, flinging out his arms and his legs, and darted into the sky with fierce energy. Prince Aksha, the Rakshasa hero, Prince Aksha, the Rakshasa hero, ran after him, and as the clouds rained hailstones upon the mountain, so Aksha showered incessant arrows on Hanuman. The exceedingly strong Hanuman was swift like the flight of mine, and began to range the sky behind the screen of arrows. Aksha's arrows were thus rendered futile. Hanuman respectfully gazed at Aksha and thought of the ways of displaying his valor. In the meantime, Aksha's arrow, in great velocity, pierced his side. Hanuman, being smitten, set up a fierce roar. He was skilled in battle and thought, "This hero is a boy, like the newly risen sun, but he is displaying prowess and valor like a mature man. He is slightly skilled in battle, but yet I have no mind to slay him. He is strong, cautious, and possesses great power of endurance. The saints, Nagas, and Yakshas will be surprised by his valor. He is extremely quick, and he is now casting repeated glances at me at close quarters without any fear. To speak the truth, even the gods and the asuras get frightened by his prowess. If I neglect him in any way, surely I shall be defeated then. Besides, the prowess of this hero is ever increasing, so it is better to kill him. It is in no way proper to disregard a growing flame." Thus, after discussing about the prowess of the enemy and thinking of the course of his actions, Hanuman decided to slay Aksha. Hanuman smote down 8 steeds of Aksha, trained in various kinds of movements and capable of carrying heavy loads, and crushed the chariot with its pole and axles by one fist blow. Thereupon Aksha jumped upon the ground and then immediately sprang into the sky, holding a sword in his hand. It seemed as if a saint was bound for heaven after casting off his body. Then Hanuman firmly caught hold of the 2 legs of the hero, and whirling him around and round like a snake held by the bird Garuda, dashed him on the ground with violent force. The arms, thighs, waist, and chest of Aksha were at once crushed into atoms. No trace of the eyes was visible. Blood flowed in streams, and Prince Aksha was at once destroyed. At this, Indra and other gods, Yakshas, Uragas, and the sages gazed upon the gate like death himself, ready for destruction. Gazed upon Hanuman with admiration and astonishment. Hanuman again climbed upon the gate like death himself, ready for destruction. Chapter 33, the 4th clash. The Rakshasa king Ravana was greatly alarmed at the news of Aksha's death. After containing himself with difficulty, he spoke to Indrajit, mighty as God. "My son, you are the foremost of the heroes. The gods and the asuras are afflicted by your prowess in battle. The gods have witnessed your valor, and being even under the protection of Indra, they could not bear your onslaught. You have secured divine arms by the grace of Brahma, the Lord of the creation. Only you never became fatigued in battle. You are intelligent. You never miss any opportunity. You never ignore time and place. You are protected by your own valor and ascetic merit. There is no impossible feat for you in the field of battle. Who is there in the 3 worlds that is not aware of your prowess and skill in arms? Your valor, your spiritual powers, and strength are quite worthy of you, and my mind is never down with anxiety for you. Thinking that you will be victorious even in a difficult fight. My boy, the retinue have been destroyed. A number of chariots, elephants, and horses have been destroyed. The heroic Mahadara and Prince Aksha have also fallen. But I did not depend on them as I do upon you. Now act. taking into consideration the destruction of the troops, the prowess of the Vanara, and your own strength. Do what you think best for considering the strength of your own side, and that of the foe, so that the enemy may be chastised. Further, I forbid you not to take any troops with you. They are dying by numbers at the hands of the Vanara, nor use thunderbolt-like arms. That fire like Vanara is invulnerable to such weapons. His strength is unimpairable. Now think over what I have said to you, and be earnest about victory in battle. You have command over several celestial arms. Think of them, and be careful about self-protection. It is not proper for me to send you to such a dangerous situation, but it is sanctioned by the conduct of the Kshatriyas as well as by royal polity. It is proper for the warrior to inquire in what things the enemy is proficient and his efficiency in battle, and it is his duty to endeavor for victory. Then Indrajit, mighty as a god, set out in order for battle. He circumambulated his father. Friends and relations present praised him repeatedly, and Indrajit became eager for fight. And that effulgent son of Ravana, having expansive eyes like the petals of a lotus, issued forth like unto the rising of the sea during a parva. That's 8th and 14th day of each lunar month. Indrajit rushed towards him with great speed. He set in battle delight. All the quarters became dark, and jackals began to cry. The Nagas, Yakshas, Maharshis, the Siddhyas, the heavenly bodies, and the birds gathered under the sky began to make a great noise. Hanuman began to emit heroic roars and became dilated in rage, seeing Indrajit's car having a flag like that of Indra approaching quickly. Indrajit held a wonderful bow, bright as lightning, and began to flourish and stretch it, producing a deep rumbling sound like the thunder. Then began a conflict between two formidable rivals. Both were strong, fearless, and quick. It seemed as if the Lord of the Devas and the Lord of the Asuras had met each other in fight. Then the great hero Indrajit began to shoot his arrows against Hanuman, and Hanuman, after baffling them, got into the sky and began to tread in the passage of his father, the wind god. Thereupon Indrajit discharged sharp, feathered arrows painted in gold with the velocity of lightning. The field of battle was filled with the rattling sound of the chariot and with the sound of bugles, drums, and twangs of the bow. Hanuman again got into the sky, and he would at first stand before the arrows, and then as soon as they were discharged, he would soar in the sky and would move beyond the range of those arrows. Both were quick, both were heroic, and one became unbearable to the other. Seeing the enemy thus unhurt, though aimed at with infallible arrows, Indrajit began to think. He found that Hanuman could not be slain, so he began to think of some means by which he could be bound. He then discharged the weapon given to him by Brahma, not to kill Hanuman, but to bind him down. Thus Hanuman's hands and feet were bound, and he became motionless and fell on the ground. Though bound up by the weapon of Brahma, he depended upon the grace of Brahma and thought of the former's blessings towards him. He thought it was impossible to free himself from the bondage of that weapon of Brahma, the Lord of the creation, so he must endure it for some time. Hanuman then recollected Brahma's boons towards him and realized that he would be soon set free. Thinking all this, he respectfully submitted to the chastisement of Brahma. He further recollected lying here in bondage without any fear. Now it will be of great advantage to me if the Rakshasas take me in, for I shall then be able to talk to Ravana. So let the enemies take me now without any further delay. Then the Rakshasas secured him by force and used several abusive expressions towards him. Hanuman gave up all efforts and began to groan. Then the Rakshasas began to bind him firmly with ropes spun from jute and the bark of trees. Hanuman thought if Ravana would like to see me out of curiosity, then my object will be attained. Thus thinking, he bore the pain of bondage and the abuses. So it looks like he, huh?
And when he stayed as a body was set on fire, people just insult him. And yet he says, I don't care because I'm serving my mom. So.
No, but he's tolerating all the pain and the bondage and the abuses. Okay. In the meantime, he was suddenly released from the bondage by the blessing of Brahma. Then Hanuman was beaten by the dreadfully strong-fisted Rakshasas. Ravana was seated in the assembly hall surrounded by the ministers and the courtiers. When Indrajit appeared before him, taking Hanuman with him, Hanuman looked like an infuriated elephant tied in chains. On seeing him, the Rakshasas repeatedly asked, "Who is this Vanara? Whose son is he? Whence and why has he come? At whose assurance has he become so fearless?" Many angrily remarked, "Kill this villain instantly, burn him, devour him," cried out some. Then the grim-visaged Rakshasas began to drag Hanuman to and fro. Dispirited Hanuman then beheld Ravana seated in a jeweled room with old counselors at his feet. His eyes were rolling in anger, and at the sight of Hanuman he beckoned his counselors, well-behaved and born of highly respectable families, to ascertain his identity, and they interrogated Hanuman, at whose instance he had come and his object of coming to Lanka. Hanuman replied, "I am an emissary of Sugriva, the lord of the Kapis, and have come here at his command." Chapter 34. In the presence of Ravana, the Rakshasa lord, was seated in the royal assembly hall. His golden diadem was studded with pearls, and his person was adorned with diamonds and precious gems. He was smeared with red sandal paste, and he wore a very costly piece of silk. His eyes were red and dreadful. His teeth were firm and white, and his lips were hanging. As the mandara shines with its summits, so he appeared exceedingly beautiful with his 10 heads, his hue of collyrium blue, and he had a gold chain on his breast. He looked like a mass of clouds tinged by the rays of the sun. His arms were smeared with a sandalwood paste and adorned with angada that looked like a penta-headed snake. His seat was made of crystal wrought with gems and covered with a sheet. A number of beautiful damsels were fanning him with choris. Durdara, Prahasta, Mahaprasa, Nikumba, these 4 counselors were seated at a short distance from him, while other counselors of beautiful appearance were consoling him with their assurances. Hanuman, smarting under the bondage, in great astonishment gazed at him with red-hot eyes. Being gazed by Ravana's effulgence, Hanuman mused within himself, "Oh, how beautiful is this hero! What patience, what strength, what beauty, and what auspicious marks does he possess! If he were not vicious, then he could have been the protector of heaven, nay, even of Indra. But his acts are cruel and ugly. This is why even the gods, or the demigods, and the asuras are frightened by his sight. This hero, being angry, can reduce the earth into the sea." Seeing the spirited Hanuman before him, Ravana grew restive. There were many misgivings in his mind, and he thought, "Is he the worshipful Nandi?" Nandi is a servant of Lord Shiva. Huh?
Because Nandi curses Ravan. So he was actually very frightened of Hanuman because he thinks that it was Nandi himself who comes over.
Is he the worshipful Nandi, who, being angry at my jeering at him, cursed me in the Kailasha, has come here in the form of a Vanara? Or is he Vana himself, the king of the Asuras. Thus debating in his mind, Ravana with red-hot eyes said to Prahasta, "Ask the villain whence and why he has come here." The villain. "What is the reason of his breaking the trees? My city is quite inaccessible. Why has he entered it? What is the cause of his fight with the Rakshasas?" Thereupon Prahasta, at the command of Ravana, told Hanuman, "Take heart, O Vanara. Tell the truth. Has not Indra sent you to this city of Lanka? Don't be afraid. You will be immediately set free or at liberty. Tell me whether you are an emissary of Kubera, Yama, or Varuna. Have you entered the city at their directions directly by assuming the form of a Vana, or has Vishnu, ever longing for victory, sent you here? You only look like a Vanara, but in valor you are not like one of the race of the Vanaras. Tell the truth. You will at once be set free. But if you tell lies, you will be put to death." Then Hanuman said to Ravana, "I am not a secret spy of Indra, Yama, or Varuna. I have no friendship with Kubera, nor has Lord Vishnu sent me hither. I am a real Vanara and belong to the race of the Vanaras. I have come here just to have a sight of you, but finding it difficult to get access to you, I have destroyed the pleasure garden. Then the Rakshasas came to fight with me, and I fought against them for self-defense. On account of the boon from Brahma, even the gods and the Asuras cannot bind me. But I have suffered myself thus to be tied down just for having a sight of you, and the Rakshasas have brought me in your presence. I am a messenger of the heroic Rama, and listen to what I say for your own good. O king, I have come to you at the command of Sugriva, the lord of the Kapis. That Sugriva inquires after your welfare. Listen to what he has communicated to you for your good in this world as well as in the next. In Ayodhya there was a king named Dasarat. He ruled over the subjects as their father. Rama is his eldest son, and he with his brother Lakshmana and his wife Janaki came to the Dandaka forest at the command of his father. The pious Rama missed his wife in Janastan. In the course of his search for Janaki, Rama with Lakshmana arrived at the Rishyamukha hill and became acquainted with Sugriva. Sugriva promised to find out the whereabouts of Janaki, and Rama too promised to confer the Vanara kingdom on him. Then, slaying Vali with one shaft, Rama gave Sugriva the lordship over the Vanaras and the Bulakas. O Rakshasa chief, you know Vali very well, and Rama slew him with a single shaft. Then Sugriva, eager for the search of Janaki, sent the Vanaras in various directions. Hosts of Vanaras are searching for Janaki in land and air. Of them, some are like Garuda in speed, and some are irresistible as the wind. Hosts of Vanaras are searching for Janaki on land and air. Of them, some are like Garuda in speed, and some are irresistible as the wind. For Janaki, I have crossed 100 yojanas of the sea and have come here to see you. I am begotten of the wind god, and my name is Hanuman. While wandering forth hither and thither, I beheld Janaki in your place. You are cognizant of righteousness, you covet for wealth, and have secured plenty through your ascetic powers. So it is not proper for you to confine another's wife. An intelligent person like you is never engaged in acts which are unjust and injurious. O king, there is none in the three worlds who can be happy by incurring hostility with Rama. Jai Shri Radha Nilamadhava Ki Jai. The gods and the Asuras cannot stand before the arrows shot by Rama and Lakshmana in anger. So listen to my words, conducive to your good and for all times, and return Janaki to Rama. I have met with Janaki here. It is difficult to have sight of her. I have seen her, and Rama will do the rest. Janaki is afflicted with sorrow, and you know not that she is residing in your place like a penta-headed snake for your destruction. You see, one cannot digest poison by his power of assimilating food, so it is not at all easy even for the gods and the asuras to hush up everything by confining her in secrecy. By virtue of religious penances, you have acquired long life and divine prosperity, but you should not spoil that merit by marrying another's wife. It is for your virtue that you are incapable of being destroyed by the gods and the asuras. But Sugriva, the king of the Kapis, is not a god. Yaksha, or a Rakshasa. By race, he is a Vanara, and Rama is a human being. Tell me, how you will protect yourself from them? Happiness is the reward of virtue. It is seldom possible to enjoy happiness along with pain of the fruit of vice. Nor can former virtue nullify subsequent vice. O king, you have enjoyed sufficient happiness in the past. Now you will have to suffer immensely. Many a Rakshasa has lost life in Janastan. The great hero Vali has fallen on the field of battle, and Rama has contracted friendship with Sugriva. Now, just think of what may be good for you. You see, I can alone destroy the city of Lanka with its elephants and horses, but Rama has not given me any direction for it. He would himself destroy the abductor of his wife. Thus he swore before the Vanara and the Balukas. King of the Rakshasas, you are only an ordinary person. Even Indra himself can't be happy by incurring hostility with Rama. She, whom you know to be Janaki, and who is confined in your abode, is the fatal night that forebodes destruction to Lanka. Don't have the noose of death in the form of Sita around your neck. Do you rather think of your welfare? You will soon find Lanka on flames, fed by the wrath of Rama and consumed by the energy of Sita. Don't bring ruin for your own fault upon your sons, wives, counselors, and friends. Don't lose time. Don't lose immense wealth. I am by race a Vanara. I am an emissary and servant of Rama. What I tell you is true. Listen to my words. The heroic Rama can recreate the world after destroying it. His process is like that of Vishnu. None amongst the gods, Asuras, Yakshas, Uragas, Vidyadharas, Gandharvas, Siddhas, Kinnaras, or among beasts and birds, can be a match. It will be extremely difficult for you to save your life after doing harm to him, the Lord of the three worlds and the King of kings. There is none in the three worlds who can challenge him in battle, neither Brahma himself, nor Rudra, the destroyer of Tripura, nor Indra, the king of gods, can stand before his shaft. Haribol. So it's a beautiful description of Hanuman beautiful description by Hanuman of Lord Rama, and good instruction for Ravana. But Ravana doesn't take good instructions. That's the problem. Okay, we'll stop here and continue tomorrow. I think we can finish this in 2 days. Haribol. What? I know, but there's only 25 pages left. Yeah.
And then they all go to Madhuvan. It's hilarity, incident. It's so fun to read them.
Yeah. Haribol.
The idea for next week on is we can start.
Nectar devotion. Yeah.
Can you push it through these kids? All the kids have exams next week.
Push one.
Like from 14th, 15th of May.
But why? The kids don't come to the class?
So not nectar of instruction, or nectar of
What?
nectar of instruction, nectar of devotion.
Yeah. What?
I
Haribol.
translated by some Bengali. It's not Gita Plus, I don't think. And it's not my book.
It's not like one of the ones written by the ISKCON guru.
I'm not sure. I don't think it was Krishna Dharma. I don't think so. Because Krishna Dharma is not segregated into proper Valmiki Ramayana chapters.
He took it himself? Oh no.
Who's the author? I would never do something like this.
Makhan Lal Singh.
Yeah.
Ramayana Valmiki. Makhan Lal Singh. Yeah, it's different. So, Prabhu has been using this for a while. He's marked all the marks are there.
But my...
I don't know
Have
what.
you seen my Valmiki Ramayana book, Prabhu?
No.
It's about this big.
Wow.
I have
Kind
2
of.
volumes and it's like
By
it's totally...
whom? I mean, by
It's by Srinivasa Iyengar.
oh.
It's from the Sri Sampradaya. Since my mom was quite young, she's been reading the Tamil
Oh, that's right.
version
Sri
of it.
Sampradaya, they have like really. Is this big?
It's this.
With 2 volumes.
Yeah, one volume and the other one. Yeah, and it's very tiny font and like dull art, new interpreting new art, it's a dull art, dino and the things like that.
It's written like that.
Yeah, Beckwith's was a very tree, very old publication. It's fun. So I'm
With all the Acharya's comments, that means.
Oh yeah, Govind Acharya, Jonathan, commentaries, and his English is just like Shakespeare's English, because they were like in British times.
Oh yeah.
So it's like that, but I'm copying the purpose from there. The compiled version.
So does it use the Sanskrit and like
No,
what
it is not Sanskrit.
just English?
So the Sanskrit and copying there is one.
So it's basically growth. It's not word by word.
No, it's just close, but you can see the literal translation of the verses in the
It does.
Yeah, you can see
Every verse is like.
and he expanded so beautifully. For example, Narada is stated with Samudra Eva Gambhiri, easy as unless. So he will describe Rama and Eka, and the meaning is just that he has performed as an ocean. So the book has given that the ocean itself is very beautiful and all this, but the people dedicate to it and make ocean towards get. And this is what Ram is. You know, I mean, at the face value, yes, he's very handsome, he's very wonderful, he's very sweet and all that. But the deeper you go, only when you understand who he is. No, it's just that one phrase has been expanded so beautifully. And how the waves move, you know, that so that he just moves according to the heart of the devotee. You know, and so yeah, it's just so beautiful, and you do not think that you just
Yeah, the Acharyas are explaining like it's the.
this is, I think that this is literally taken from Govind Acharya. So it's so easy, so easy. It's very good. But you know, also, and what is mentioned that Valmiki, see after Brahma gives that Ashirvad, he gets to see everything, hear everything that has happened before and what is going to happen in the future. It's mentioned that he would meditate and he would see Ramayana as if it was one amla or a gooseberry fruit in his hand. So gooseberry, it's like it's a medicine. There's all medicine properties. And the Ramayana is a medicine for the soul. It can cure a lot of things. No, even then, what is the meaning of the fruit is giving us a very good. It's just so profound. So very good. How are you?
Very well.
Nice to see you.
Yeah. You will pray for it?
You see that, like, you take it slowly.
Oh, but you have to bless it.
Huh?
Be blessed.
Yes. Give.
Bring roll लेके आओ. Roll लेके आओ.
And you from camping bed?
Take on camping bed.
Oh, also that's done. And you have a camping bed? I'll give you that.
और गाड़ी उन्होंने पूरा क्लीन हो गया. वो पर बता है, वो पर है तो बता. दादू पानी बाहर आ जाएगा, पानी भर बाहर अरे बाप रे, 9 seconds, अरे हम सुबह कब था वाला कहाँ पे पहुँच गए? अरे 9:48 बंद किया, 9:48 बंद किया।
टोपी पहना ना ठंडा.